Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm super excited to be with you guys this evening. Man, we made it all the way to Tuesday, and we are here with the Healing Circle Conversations. I'm so excited to have Dr. Jessica in the house.
Hi, good evening.
Yes, so Dr. Jessica, just share a little bit about what you do as we get into this conversation this evening.
All right, so a little bit about myself. Well, welcome again. Hello, good evening, all of that. It's 7:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. I'm Dr. Jessica Shine, and I love working with individuals. I love working with couples in premarital marriage counseling. Definitely using the Gottman training, family dysfunction, trauma informed care, boundary setting, and any type of dysfunction or life transitions that someone may be going through. Those are just some of the areas I like to work in.
Awesome, awesome. I love it. Like we both are Gottman trained therapists, and so it's just so amazing to work with couples and to take them through this process of being able to communicate better, being able to connect, being able to get to a space of intimacy, friendship, forgiveness, love, and just build that foundational safe house. Like literally, creating new rituals, new shared meaning, and really just kind of really getting back to what it is that they felt in the beginning. And a lot of times, we work with older couples who've been married for a
Mhm.
long time, some who are newly, married, and they're just figuring out what their communication pattern is, like how those
Absolutely.
four horsemen come in, and we might talk about that a little bit. But the older couples, a lot of times, it's just like getting back to the love, getting back to appreciation of one another, and getting back to where the relationship feels good and feel honored. So tonight, we are going to talk about secrets. This
Mhm.
often comes up in couples counseling. And so, just to kick it off, Dr. Jessica, when folks come into couples counseling, what is a policy that we have when it comes to secrets?
We have a no secret keeping policy, and I love that policy because from the gate, it speaks of transparency and how we're going to navigate through that, through that transition, and how we're going to show up and support you all.
Yes, absolutely. So, it also opens up the space for people to get honest and give
Absolutely.
them that safe space. So, I wanted to start off with what type, because I think everybody always feels like they're alone in this, but
Mhm.
what type of secrets do we normally hear about that people haven't shared with their partner or they've been scared to share?
I think some of the common secrets, there are a plethora of secrets for sure. But I think the common secrets that we hear about are those secrets that are, surrounding infidelity, finances, maybe some addictions, some secret addictions, and not just like substance abuse addictions, but it could also be, excuse me, addictions that are like pornography addictions and things of that nature as well. So those are some of the common secrets that I'm accustomed to hearing, but sometimes I've heard some secrets that are, you know, where I am in this relationship,
Mhm.
how do I feel about the relationship? How can I work through this process where I may have shown up saying, I think it's communication, where it may be something much deeper than that as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know for sure. I often hear of different needs in the bedroom, like so different sex drives, you know, um, attraction needs, and again, like you said, finances is really big. A lot of
Mhm.
work with clients who have a lot of trauma around money, either feeling like they spend too much and their partner is going to judge them, or they don't save enough, or they, may think their partner should get a different job or go for a promotion. It could be a whole, or maybe they're disappointed because they're not where they think that they should be,
Mhm.
whether that's financially or in that closeness of their relationship at this stage.
Yes.
They can't do the things they thought they were going to be doing, or so just dealing with like disappointment, so it's so many different things, but that honesty piece is so important when we're working to get back on the same page, working to understand one another, and things like that. So when people do decide to open up, what's some things that you typically hear from their partners or things that are shared that just lets you know that it is a good space to share these type of things?
With the partners, some of the things that I what I try to do, because sometimes the clients, what's important, I won't say some things, but what I think is important is establishing that relationship with that client and trying to build that trust initially so that they feel like this is a space where I can entrust the therapist to be that neutral party that is trying to protect the relationship as a whole, and actually really working to get us and navigate us through a place that we can get to some area of transparency. And so when I'm working with the clients, I hear that love story. I work with, I progress to work with them individually as well to find out, like, what's some of that family history, what are some of those patterns, relationship patterns that are causing you to show up in that way. So I really work hard to build that rapport with the couple as a whole, but them individually as well, so that they know that I'm here for both of them.
Oh, that is so good. I think just addressing not only like what's happening in the here and now, but like how we got here.
Absolutely.
And understanding that this is a safe space, not where someone's going to be blamed, but where we're getting to this space of understanding. Like we want to be able to understand like how you got here and then help you navigate what's the next steps. Like we are all so human and we make mistakes. And a lot of times we follow patterns that we've seen our parents make or our grandparents make. And so, or even our friends have said, well, I remember growing up, I often heard that, as a woman, you're supposed to keep your secret stash. You ever heard that?
Yes, I did. Yeah, like never let the right hand know what the left hand is
Exactly,
doing.
exactly. And I was like, well, that includes your man. Yes,
Right.
especially your man, right? So getting to a space where we're coming up with this new norm of what we're considering partnership, and we're looking at equalitarian roles, right? Where we're both coming in and saying, this is what we're bringing to the table.
Mhm.
And we're being transparent about our spending, and we're being transparent about what our hopes and our dreams are. And all of these different things, it's new in a lot of ways. A lot of times, even when I'm working with some of our single clients who are looking to be married, they are saying, hey, when I describe this healthy relationship or this partnership,
Mhm.
I am not always meeting people who understand that. And I'm like, it's a growth process because many people weren't raised in those households. They were raised in households where secrets were kept, where we didn't talk about our emotions. I think that's one of the amazing things about this generation is that they are so free with talking about their emotions, describing
Yes.
their needs.
Yeah.
Whereas, when I think of people, in their who are older than myself, and even in my age group, so I'm in my 40s, but definitely older than myself, you didn't
Mhm.
talk about those things. Like those are like, look,
You
you
keep it in the house, keep it to yourself.
keep that to yourself.
Right.
So being able to come and be transparent and really get the support that you need. And I definitely am one, because we get asked this a lot. You probably have heard this too, Dr. Jessica, where clients want to know if we're going to pray for them, if we're going to use like passages and things like that. And then I'll let you share your perspective. But we always, like for me, I always tell people that I'm a Christian, but I really work to bring all tools to the table based on who my client is. So we
Absolutely.
do have clients who are Christians, and then we're going to look at some biblical things and bring those in. And we also have clients who are new in that walk, and then we're primarily working to use the Gottman tools to get them on track with their communication. And what I know for sure is that those tools work.
Absolutely.
They literally work,
Yeah,
right?
for
Uh,
sure.
and so we really work to honor and respect where you are. That's important for us.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I always tell the clients that I go wherever you're taking me as it relates to your spirituality, and how and if you want to include that in your therapeutic process, because I always want to be very respectful of what that looks like for you. And that makes clients feel very comfortable because it takes off, I definitely want to remove all judgment. I don't get to judge you. I don't think about judging you. This is your space. I'm your advocate. And
Yeah.
so It's really the message that I always try to drive to clients.
I love it. So now when people have revealed themselves, so let's talk about this. You've revealed yourself, you've told
Mhm.
your truth. And for most folks, when that happens, you're feeling pretty raw. What's
Absolutely.
some ways that you work and I work, I'll share that to get people back to feeling safe and feeling heard and starting that healing process?
I believe I work with clients, or we work with clients to initially validate, because it is so much judgment that can be initially like thought of and feel like it's going to be pressed upon you in the therapeutic process, just for especially for those that are new to the therapeutic process. So I really work to remove that feeling of judgment, because they already feel to some degree some shame
Hmm.
around those actions, whatever that is. So I work with the clients to help them understand like the dynamics of that relationship, acknowledging that brokenness, and then gaining insight into, the why, and looking at, what are the different parts of, how I showed up in that space, and then work to, let's come together and develop some healthier coping skills with how we can move, from this place, because you definitely want to validate the hurt parties, acknowledge that this has happened, and then work from a place towards healthy, a healthy relationship, and increase intimacy and communication. The goal is to develop that trust and deeper intimacy.
Yeah. I love that you said, share some steps to get back to like feeling happy, healthy, and whole. We definitely do a lot of modeling because, again, a lot of us haven't seen that. But
Right.
also, sometimes it takes us to even have a individual session. I know a couple I'm working with this week where we can now go in and help them to self secure
Yes.
because it's a lot that's done within the couple relationship and the couple therapy. But then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when things have happened, such as infidelity, and that could be all sorts of infidelity. So when I say it, I mean financial infidelity, I mean sexual infidelity, emotional
Mm-hmm.
infidelity. Sometimes people can have infidelity to vices, so to alcohol or to drugs, right, where they haven't been
Right.
present, and their partner just feels like closed down, like
Mm-hmm.
whipped, like literally I can't hear or receive from this person because I have just experienced something that looks like PTSD and trauma. And so I'm having to get myself back on par. And so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we have to do some self-regulation so that that person feels comfortable even like engaging and accepting the influence of their partner. Just saying, hey, just forgive and just go doesn't work.
Yeah. No.
Like,
It's not realistic.
yeah, it's not in a lot of ways, especially when deeper hurts have happened and
Mm-hmm.
that person is being re-traumatized a lot of times by scenarios or situations that's bringing that trauma up for them. So we really work to holistically help folks get free in a very systematic, unique to them type of way as we're going through the process. So I love the fact that, like I said, like we're Godmen trained, but one of the things I love about Godmen is you're taking different things from other sources, all sources, and you are applying them to the people right in front of you,
Absolutely.
so they can get the things that they need. So I'm just going to end off with this. If somebody wants to get started with you, if they're ready to, really kind of set their, I couldn't even say set, put their relationship back on track, how can they get in touch with you, Dr. Jessica?
Well, please, absolutely. I would love for, any couples, any clients, couples, individual, whatever you need for that support, get in contact with us at VisionWorks, VisionWorks Coaching and Counseling. Definitely reach out to us. Our website, it should be available. Our phone number should be accessible on this platform as well. We would love to definitely support you in however you need to be supported. And we are fully capable of doing it. So we are
We
excited.
are. So we
Yeah,
rock.
we do. We
I
rock.
have Dr. Jessica share her specialty, but I love working with older couples who want to get their groove back.
All
who
right.
have had years of like just, miscommunications, wanting to hear each other again. That is my jam. And also couples who are working around financial issues and want to get back on track with trusting each other, with getting back in alignment of how we spend and how we respect each other around money and money conversations. Those are my jams.
Yes. Yes.
What would you say your jam is? Like, who are the couples that you just love?
My couples that's my jam, I would say, are the couples that are really working on that communication, but really are needing that support. So probably maybe that younger couple or a newer couple that don't have not had communication modeled in an effective way, where I'm helping them build those communication skills, where it just really catapults them into so many other areas, such as trust, such as increasing that intimacy. Because really what happens in communication is that you work to create that space where that person can develop trust on a deeper level. And if I trust you, I feel safe with you, which allows me to definitely want to have a deeper level of intimacy with you. So I love, that's my jam.
I
That's
love that. So when you said that, it made me think of this. Another couple that I love working with is couples who are newly moved in together, may be newlyweds or cohabitating.
yeah.
And I love this couple because literally you guys don't have a lot of stuff going on yet. And we got a lot of those. So it's like, what? Like, but you are just working on communication at its core. And I couldn't even end this broadcast unless I share what the four horsemen are. Because a lot of times when we think of communication, it's just like, okay, maybe I'm missing messages from this other person, or I might be misinterpreting them. But we really think about it in terms of the four horsemen. So in communication, somebody might bring something up to you, your partner, and you might become defensive
Mm-hmm.
instead of taking responsibility for what they're saying. We also see criticism. And so
Mm-hmm.
instead of saying, hey, I really would love to get some support with cleaning the kitchen, it might sound something like, you never help with cleaning the,
Absolutely.
right? And then
Absolutely.
contempt is the third one. And contempt really looks a lot like, oh my God, here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we shut our partner off before they even can have a conversation or even can talk about what they want to bring to the table. And then the last one is stonewalling. And in stonewalling, we literally just shut down. So we're so like flooded by everything that's happening. We're not even hearing them. We've checked out. And honestly, the worst of the four are like your contempt and your stonewalling.
Yes.
And what we know for sure is when you get to contempt, you really are starting to think that this may not be the person for me,
Mm-hmm.
and there may be somebody better than this person, or I may be better off out of this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so our goal, like you said, is to get you back to having deeper intimacy, shared meaning, a fun and healthy
Yeah,
friendship. We made counseling fun, okay?
absolutely.
A really healthy friendship, because what we know is like when you are good friends, you
Yeah,
want to stay with this person, you want to continue to build with this person. So fondness and admiration are everything, and of course respect. Like there is nothing if we don't respect each other.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think what I love about that, with the four horsemen, is we get to teach the couples what those are,
Yeah.
identify that's your style, and
Hmm.
how to, what is the, man, I'm thinking of the word, what is the anecdote? What's
Yeah.
the anecdote for it? Like, this is what I am, this is how I show up, but this is how I counter it to show up healthier in the relationship. So I love that we get to use that as a part of that Gottman training, and teaching them about the emotional flooding and all those other parts that come in with it. We really go on a deeper level with how we explain all of that to our couples. So
Yeah.
I love that.
I do too. It's so many tools, like you just mentioned, like, working with your triggers, working with how we start conversations. So that soft startup,
Yeah.
so that we literally set the foundation for a good conversation,
Hmm.
and figuring out how to have those stress reduction conversations. So when we see each other again, we greet each other with a kiss.
Yeah. Yeah.
those soft repairs after we've had a disagreement so we can come back to like being alive and feeling the love.
Mm-hmm.
The part that's so special is as we're building up these tools each week, like we start seeing progress so quickly. It's pretty amazing. I've been working with the Gottman program since 2010 and as a Gottman therapist. And so just to see the growth of all the folks that I've had a chance to work with for so many years. And then to, sometimes I run into people in these internet streets, whether that's LinkedIn or sometimes it's in person or sometimes just get email and they're like, man, we still together. You know what I'm saying? Like we're still using the tools. I love that. So I think that part is really cool because you're giving people good foundations.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it's been so amazing to be with you guys tonight. Thank you, Dr. Jessica, for all these wonderful gems. Like she said, reach out to us, www.visionworkscoaching.com. And we will see you on the other side. Good night, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.